Good evening to you, viewers. At the heart of the story I want to reveal to you, there exists a shocking double standard that points to an institutionalized bias against the Hindu community that prompts a basic question. Should Hindus, just because they are in a majority, be on the defensive about demanding their dues which accrue to them through basic fundamental guaranteed rights? Now, the hard facts that we will reveal to you this evening have been excerpted from a classified report. Here is what they tell us up front. A shocking double standards is at play. Times Now has accessed insights into the National Minority Panel interim report. This report has just been prepared a few days ago. The panel, in its interim report in principle, has objected to the classification of Hindus as minorities in 8 states where their population is very thin. Some cases, their population is only 2% of the general population of that state. The report cites constitutional boundaries to recommend the denial of this minority tag. The Minority Panel interim report puts the onus on the states to grant a minority tag. Now, here is where the problem is, and we'll keep those hard facts constantly rotating while I add a couple of other points. In the past, the National Commission of Minorities has extended the benefits to even the Jain community. But in this particular case, it doesn't want to take a stand. There is also a very strange duplicity that is being exhibited by certain so-called secular parties. These parties have in the past, specifically before the 2014 general election, gone ahead and announced a 4.5% quota for Muslims. Now, religious quotas are expressly banned, but they're silent on the minority tag that is demanded by a section of Hindus who are in an abysmal minority in certain states, in at least 8 states of the Union. I want to bring in Anisha Mathur, who has been able to access details. Anisha, I want to ask you, this is an important point. We have a situation where almost 70% Muslims live in Jammu and Kashmir, and they have the minority tag. You have a situation where 98% Christians are in existence in some northeastern states, and they have a minority tag, but not the 2% Hindus or even the 28% Hindus in Jammu and Kashmir. How does that work? Why are there 2 yardsticks that are applied?
Well, Rahul, there is no specific criteria set in the country to identify just who is a minority, and that the lack of an actual legal definition of what exactly is a minority in this country, how exactly they are identified, is the biggest problem and the biggest challenge before the National Commission for Minorities and the Home Ministry at this moment. Both the NCM and the Home Ministry have set up committees to look into just how minorities are being defined. As you were just saying, there are several states in this country where Hindus are a numerical minority. This includes Lakshadweep, Mizoram, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Jammu Kashmir, Arunachal, Manipur and Punjab, where Hindus, persons identifying as of being of the Hindu religion, are actually less than 20% of the total population. But at present, we do not have any legal definition of how these people have been identified and what exactly constitutes a minority. Right. There is only one circular that was issued issued by the Home Ministry back in 1993, by which Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Parsis and Buddhists had been identified as minorities in the country, and in 2014 Jains were added to the list. So we have six communities that were added, but no legal definition, and that is something that we have to look into very carefully.
Well, that hasn't stopped. Thanks, Anisha. Thank you for joining us with that breaking news update. That was Anisha Mathur, who has been able to access the details from her sources in the National Minorities Commission. Now, the head of the minority panel confirms our breaking insight by admitting that the report is complete and that its findings require to be shared with the petitioner in this case, who has a different point of view, which also confirms that this commission has decided to go against the demands of the Hindu community in at least 8 states where they are in an abysmal minority. Let's listen to him.
हमारे जो वाइस चेयरमैन हैं उनके अंडर में 3 लोगों की कमेटी बनाई थी और वो उन्होंने अपनी रिपोर्ट लगभग तैयार की है और उस रिपोर्ट को माइनॉरिटी अफेयर्स मिनिस्ट्री और लॉ मिनिस्ट्री में भेजने से पहले ये तय किया है कि जो मिस्टर अश्वनी उपाध्याय हैं उनका भी वर्जन सुन लिया जाए, उनकी विवाद भी सुनना चाहिए। उसके लिए 14 जून को उनको कमीशन में बुलाया गया।
There you go. Now let's look at the irony of the situation. Here are a few graphics that we are going to pull out. It appears, and this is really strange, that when people are in a majority in a particular state, they are given a minority tag. Look at this, Muslims in a majority in Jammu and Kashmir, but their status is that of a minority in the state. The Hindus are 28%, but they are not a minority. So they are losing out on important benefits that should accrue to them. I'll give you a statistic in just a few moments, viewers, and it will help you clarify more on what I'm saying. Now let's look at some other states very quickly. That's Punjab. Sikhs are 62% there, but have minority status. The Hindus that are 38% are not a minority. Let's look at the other state, Arunachal Pradesh. Christians, 31%. They're a minority, but Hindus who are almost a few, obviously, percentage points less are not a minority. Let's look at the other states there on your screen. There'll be Manipur, 41.39% Christians. Once again, they are the minority, not the Hindus. Let's look at other states. Let's quickly go through them. Lakshadweep, same story. Huge overwhelming number of Muslims, minorities, but not Hindus. Let's go quickly through them. Mizoram is another case in point. Let's go to Nagaland. I think Nagaland comes up next. Yes, so this way there are 8 states. Let's keep going through. Meghalaya, once again, Christians 70%, they're given minority tag, but not Hindus. So this is a continual story, and it goes from state to state. Now, obviously, it raises several questions, which I'm going to ask now our panel, who is going to be joining us. Let's open this up. GVL Narasimha Rao of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Member of Parliament, is with us. Also, Rizwan Ahmed, a lawyer. Suneet Chopra, Senior Leader of the CPIM, the left parties. We have with us Asif Bhamla, sympathizer of the Congress and the NCP. Sabha Naqvi, Senior Journalist. And Ashutosh Mishra, another journalist who is with us, Senior Journalist with us. I would like to begin with a basic baseline question. Why should all people similarly disadvantaged be equal under the law? This is a question that I want to ask Sabha Naqvi this evening. Sabha Naqvi, I find this rather strange. It's a paradox which is inexplicable. Let me boil it down further.
So
how is it that Muslims who constitute 72% of the entire population of Jammu and Kashmir be granted minority status and not Hindus? How does this work?
So can I just, should I answer now?
Yes.
First of all, Rahul, I think this is based on national minority figures. And I just want to make a point here. Except for getting some freedom in running educational institutions, what does minority, the status of minorities really mean? The real meat is in reservation. You can't get reservation. Minorities are denied reservation on the basis of religion. That is where the real cake, the icing on the cake is in that status. So let's get what does minority status actually mean. It played out in Karnataka just now with the Lingayat community. It is actually, when you travel in the ground, it is about them having control over their religious institutions at the practical level, aside from some of them maintaining the older religious philosophical debates, which are indeed true over there. But on the practical level, it was about getting independence over your educational institutions. What kind of a meaningless demand is this? Except to somehow create
I'll tell you. If you allow me.
Hindus are persecuted
No,
in
if you
India.
allow me.
That's what I feel.
No, if you allow me.
Yeah, please.
There is, as you rightly say, the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan.
Yeah.
Then there are integrated child development services, the ICDS schemes providing services through Anganwadi centers. Then there is National Rural Livelihood Mission. Then there is the National Urban Livelihoods Mission, industrial training institutes, bank credit under priority sector lending, Indira Awas Yojana. There are several such schemes. And let me ask you about some of the others. Pre-matric scholarship scheme, post-matric scholarship scheme, merit cum means scholarship scheme for technical and professional courses. So skill development. I'll go into more details if you want. Maulana Azad National Fellowship for Minority Students. Loan schemes of National Minority Development and Finance Corporation for economic activities. It just goes on and on. There are several. There are several, and they're here. You can look them up on the websites of the government. So it's not as if this is some empty demand. This is very
I have no doubt
central
I have
to people's livelihoods.
Rahul, I also want to but I want to get back to the minority. Many of the communities in India, with the exception of the largest minority, when you look at those who have the status, if you look at the condition, if you look at the socio-economic condition of Sikh community, I suspect if you look at them in the Christian community, if you look at them in the Jain community, you will find that if you take the whole mean across the social spectrum, they would be better off than Hindus. If you take the whole mean from the lowest caste to the highest. So it's a very complicated issue we are
No. It doesn't seem to be complicated. No, it's never complicated. When political parties reduce it to a binary, there are so-called secular parties who say, no, we must give reservations to Muslims or to other denominations. There is no problem before an election to give minority tag to Lingayats. Once again, before a national election, Jains got minority tag. Then there are no limitations. Then it's all free. Then it's all open. Then it all becomes simplistic.
But it is being done.
No, come on. There is.
Okay, I want to ask you, I don't see the benefit. I don't really see any tangible benefit.
Ma'am, that's because
it's
perhaps...
It's more of political sloganeering.
No, that's because perhaps you have blinkers on and you don't want to see
the Muslim community
the worthiness
of socio-economic factors.
Of the several schemes that are being presented here.
And look at the condition of the Muslim community.
Which help you...
Rahul,
in improving your economic situation. Ma'am, you asked me. I'm giving you the facts. I'm not lying here. Please Google. If you have a computer or a iPad, etc. Have a look.
No, I don't need to. I completely believe you. Well, I am telling you the third argument that the Muslim
these are just the Prime Minister's new 15-point program.
Socio-economic indicators.
Just the Prime Minister's schemes. I'm not even talking about the ministry-specific schemes.
They have been slipping even under the UPA time.
No, it's easy for you. No, 1 second. I want to ask some of these individuals. I want to ask Ashutosh Mishra. Ashutosh Mishra, the Congress party has no problems. The left has no problems advocating for the rights of Rohingyas. But they have a problem advocating for the rights of full citizenship for West Pakistanis. Why? The Hindus. Why?
I can't answer for Congress.
Actually, you can't answer.
I don't carry the torch
I'm not
for
asking
them.
you. I only
But
said that.
So what we were talking
there
about.
There are certain political parties. No, get to the point, sir. Is there a reflex? No, is there a reflex bias that kicks in because certain political parties are shackled by appeasement politics? They don't want to lose their vote bank.
You said it depends on the state. They have to.
I didn't say that. No, the National Commission. I think you misheard. I think you misheard. I said the National Commission.
5 of the 8 states that you have mentioned have BJP allies.
Can I say something?
Run government.
Can I say something?
They can do
Can I say something? It's not that.
Can I come
It's not that. Don't pass the buck.
Can I come in?
Don't pass the buck.
Rahul, can I come
I'm asking.
And your question was answered by the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister. When the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister was distributing free laptops to reserved category students, one of the students of higher caste asked that why can't you give laptops to everyone?
Sir, I'm only asking a question. When Manmohan Singh declared that Muslims have first right on India's resources, was it not open appeasement, sir? I'm not against. Look, I'm not against. No, excuse me. I'm not against any community getting their due under the Constitution. I am not. I'm only questioning the double standards. Here you see in Arunachal Pradesh, Christians have 31% of the population are declared a minority,
so let's
but Hindus are not. And there is a few Christians, 41.39 Hindus. They can't amend the Constitution, sir. So you're a senior journalist. How can, sir, the BJP amend the Constitution when it needs a 2/3 majority in both houses of Parliament? You know what I'm talking about. And large number of secular parties will oppose it. Let me bring in the Bharatiya Janata Party on this. Let me bring in GVL Narasimha Rao. Let me bring in GVL Narasimha Rao.
Mischievous twisting of facts.
Oh, so demanding rights for Hindus is mischievous.
No, because it has
what are you trying to say?
Telling that this has been filed by a BJP and it has not been turned out yet. It has not been turned down yet. There is a final hearing on June 14th. So why do you say that the secular
because the National Commission for Minorities that has been advised by several. Let me finish. That's because maybe you're jumping the gun, sir. You haven't read the details into the story that we are putting out, because we have exclusive insights to suggest that the interim report that has been put together by the National Minorities Commission panel, the 3-member panel, has taken an adverse view. Now, I want to bring in GVL Narasimha Rao and I want to ask him, GVL Narasimha Rao, what stops some of the opposition parties that have been in power for a very long time in their respective states from coming out and walking with you to change what is an unfair status quo? What stops them?
Rahul, I think the answer is known to the people of this country because there has been an appeasement politics that we have seen in this country. And minorities, when political parties talk of minorities, I don't think they have the Buddhists, the Jains, or even the Christians in mind. I think it's largely a vote bank. Largely they want to appease Muslim community as a vote bank. And have they done enough for that community? That's a different question. The condition of this community would not be what it is if they had not been used only as a political vote bank.
What do you mean communalizing? We are talking about Hindus. No, we are talking about Hindus. Now, I'm asking you, sir, why are political parties that talk about social justice not pushing for minority status for Hindus where they're in a minority?
That wherever there is a majority, the minority is threatened. That would be painting Hindus with black brush.
Sir, in Jammu and Kashmir, the worst excesses were visited upon Hindus. Who stood up for them?
Can I complete my statement, please?
Don't you think there should be, their rights should have been secure?
That's what the state is doing.
Oh, really? The state is doing that? Who's gone to jail? Who's gone to jail? Who is gone to jail? Answer me.
Criminals go to jail.
Really? In which criminal went to jail in the butchery of Kashmiri Hindus? You name me one person.
question is not
No,
that.
the question is that.
Question
the
is
question
you are
is
trivializing
that
the
in
issue
certain,
by
I'm not
making it
certain,
into
in
a Hindu
certain
and Muslim
states,
fight
the
everywhere.
Hindus are in a minority.
We have to
they
realize
find themselves
the danger faced
disadvantaged,
by the country
and
today,
unfortunately,
this divide and
sir,
rule policy is
politicians
dangerous.
and their
Let's not do that.
sympathizers, individuals like
Let's
you,
not do that.
have a
And in
problem.
5 of these
Have
8
a problem
states,
because you're shackled by
BJP
your
runs the government,
vote bank considerations.
They can take care.
No, 1 minute.
If they have a problem.
Let me bring in Asif Bhamla on this. Let me also bring in Asif Bhamla. Asif Bhamla,
can I
I'm asking you, why do political parties that talk ad nauseum about social justice not pushing for minority status for Hindus where they're in a minority? What prevents them?
And the same question goes for Hindu parties. Why don't they speak for the upper caste?
You see, you see, now, gentlemen, why don't you keep quiet? Now, this question is for me. You're just talking around only, please. Now, first, I'd like to say is, who exactly is a minority is a biggest challenge which the government is facing both in center and the state. But having said that, the National Commission for Minority, which was set up in the year 1903, had officially endorsed the Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Parsis and Jains. Now, having said that, after, we've realized that there is no major tangible benefits, even to the minorities. If you're asking me, the 20,000 scholarships which normally is granted, and the other benefits that are granted,
multiple skill development schemes, credit schemes for self-employment, income generation, education skill development scheme for minority women, support for students who clear UPSC, SSC prelims. There are many.
Complete and then you talk to me.
There are 15 such schemes under the Prime Minister himself. No, so don't try to trivialize this by suggesting then remove everyone's minority tag. Why do they hanker for minority tag? Why do Lingayats want the minority tag according to the communists? Why give them? Why give the Jains?
That in spite of all these, Rahul, first you answer me a question, please.
No, you answer me.
After all the facilities
you
given
answer
to the
me.
minorities,
You're trivializing the needs of a community. But you will not trivialize that
you
same,
are not letting me put
that same need for
not
another community. Why are you so flagrantly communal, sir, in your outlook?
Facilities granted. No, you see, you are not letting me talk, Rahul. In spite of all the facilities given to the minorities in all forums, why is the minority still so backward in the field of education, in the field of employment? Have you ever asked this to the government in place? Why, if there is so much, and if the government in place feels that my Hindu brothers should be given a minority status, be it you are in power in the center and the state, we have no objections to that. The question here is, by giving the status of minority, is the facilities going to the end user?
GVL, that's a different matter. We'll come to that later. GVL Narasimha wants to come in.
No,
GVL Narasimha wants to come in. Sir, 1 minute. Obviously, they go to the end beneficiary, sir. That's the reason why there is such a desperation.
Give the minority
No, that is why there is such a desperation to retain the minority tag. If there were no benefits going to the end user, why would the Congress be queuing up outside Lingayat homes saying that you vote us and we'll give you a minority tag? Come on, you saw how this was working on the ground. I want to bring in GVL Narasimha. Don't make superficial points, sir. Please get to the specifics. I'm asking you specific questions. I'm not talking in the air. Yes, GVL Narasimha.
Don't make it a communal
GVL Narasimha. GVL
Narasimha.
Yeah, Rahul, I have there is audio problem. Please tell everyone to remain quiet for 30 seconds. Let me present my view. Please don't interrupt. Okay, you see, when it comes to the caste, there are many castes which are classified as scheduled caste in one state. Please ask him to keep quiet. Please tell him to keep quiet for 30 seconds. There are castes which are classified as scheduled castes in one state and backward castes in another, and vice versa. There are some castes which are general caste in one state and scheduled caste in another. Scheduled caste in one state, scheduled tribe in another state. So it is a concept that varied from state to state. So why should minorities also not be defined based on the numerical strength in each state? I think how can the same concept not be applied here? I think in a Christian majority state or a Muslim majority state, why should that community be considered minority? I think it's
GBL,
been certainly, this nomenclature, this categorization
GBL,
has been done in
a
most irrational manner.
We are not objecting
and
this.
I'm certainly hoping that the court will take view of it. In the past, the courts ruled that district level it should be identified. Who is the minority and who is the majority.
Mr. Bhamla,
so
had people not objected to it, the amendment would have been made to the Constitution. It's obvious it has taken a BJP individual to move the courts. Why wasn't this challenged earlier?
The idea is not
I'm asking you, if people had no objection to it, why wasn't it challenged earlier? No, I want to bring in Mr. Chopra. Mr. Chopra, tell me, if you have no objections to it, do you have, firstly, let me ask him. 1 minute, Mr. Bhamla, shut him down. 1 second, I want to go across to Mr. Chopra. Do you have objections to it in principle? Mr. Chopra?
The question is not of objecting in principle. We live in the Indian Union, and as a part of the Union, minorities are considered in relation to the Union. If you want something different, the issue has been raised in the Minorities Commission. After the publication of the Structure Committee report, we took the position that certain minorities need help. Let there be a study for all minorities, as long as you can stand up to the definition.
Obviously,
in J&K,
the definition is where you have fewer numbers.
Why are they silent?
Where you have fewer numbers. Don't get hysterical.
BJP, they have been ruling there. What have they done? Obviously, they have done damn all. In the same way, Manipur. In the same way, Goa. In the same way,
Mr. Chopra, Mr. Chopra,
they are governing.
You know, before you start off attacking the RSS and everybody else, I only want to ask you a simple question. Why is it that your government, for example, in the states where you have ruled, never secured the rights of the Hindu minority?
In Bengal we helped.
Why is it that you have demanded at different points in time? No, I'm asking you. Minority status for certain religions and not for certain other denominations which fall under the same bracket because they have fewer numbers in various quarters of the state.
Country. In J&K, BJP is ruling. Let them do it if they have the guts.
What were you doing all these years? This petition has just been moved by your own admission less than 6 months ago.
In Bengal we did it.
6 months, it's not even been 6 months. Yes, it is in court, but already the National Minorities Commission has a problem. Why is there an institutionalized bias? That's what I'm asking. Why should Hindus be ashamed of demanding their rights? That is what I'm asking. I want to bring it. No, 1 minute. Listen, I've heard your sermon. Let me bring in Rizwan Ahmed. Rizwan Ahmed, it's very simple. It's very simple. We have a situation where a certain government demanded minority status for the Jain community and got it with great alacrity. A state government demanded minority status for Lingayats, passed the resolution through the cabinet, put the ball in the centre's court because it suited them electorally. But they don't do it for another similarly disadvantaged set of Hindus in different states because they are not a vote bank.
J&K.
They are not a vote bank.
BJP should do it.
They are not a vote bank.
BJP should do it.
You are obsessed, sir, with the BJP. Now calm down.
Rahul.
Relax. Calm down.
Rahul.
You know that the matter is before a commission. You know that it's in front of the courts.
Rahul.
It wouldn't have had to be had the political establishment led by so-called secular parties like you who croon day in and day out for securing the rights of all sorts of flotsam and jetsam should not have actually stood up for these people. You know what I'm talking about. So don't be duplicitous. I want to bring in Rizwan Ahmed. Rizwan Ahmed.
No.
What is the problem with this mindset?
Rahul,
Explain.
As you said, it is very simple. Number one, let me tell you that the word secularism and minority is the most abused, misused, manipulated word. It is nothing but a political tool, only and only related with Muslims. You leave aside Sikhs and Parsis and Jains, don't count them in minority. Talk about Muslims. We should be bold, number one. Number two, India is a federal structure, Rahul. We have a union government, we have a state government, center and state government. The government which is in center can be in opposition in the state and vice versa. It is so simple to understand that we can have two sort of schemes. One are central schemes and other are state schemes. The central scheme shall apply to entire union and the state scheme shall apply to the minority of the state. It is so simple to understand if you bifurcate, but people, because of political appeasement, let not logic prevail. They keep on giving their super intellectuality and they keep on disturbing things which are very simple to understand.
Why do you say that? In this case, the case has been filed by, as you said, vote bank politics. It has been filed by a BJP guy.
BJP guy?
Yes.
Vote bank politics? 2%? No, 2% population in a northeastern state is going to... No, actually it's the contrary. The reason it was not done for 70 years... Hello, Ashutosh, the reason it was not done for 70 years was because of vote bank. Had the Hindus been a huge vote bank that voted in a consolidated manner, this would have happened on day one. Come on, what nonsense are you talking, sir? What nonsense are you talking today? Come on, sir. This is absolute nonsensical argument. It's a nonsensical argument.
No, why is it a nonsensical?
It's like the pot calling the kettle black.
No, you tell me.
Listen to him.
Are you saying
Rizwan Ahmed is calling.
Rahul,
1 minute.
Saying
Rizwan
that
Ahmed.
in the age
Now,
of the BJP,
the problem is,
Rahul, I'll come to you.
Now
Rizwan
the
Ahmed
problem
first.
is, Rahul, the problem is, as it has been filed for the benefit of Hindus, the super intellectual class of India has become very intelligent now.
Sir,
now they will give all sorts of logical arguments, but they were not giving earlier.
Let him speak. By your logic, okay, let me just bring in Sabha Naqvi.
Because now Hindus are involved and benefit of Hindus are involved. Now you will give all sorts of...
Let me ask. Sabha Naqvi, let me ask you. Unless it's about dividing Hindus, do so-called secular parties... No. Do so-called secular parties don't like to speak up for Hindus for the fear of upsetting their minority vote bank? It's a simple, direct question. Answer it.
I think you're looking at everything in a very, very problematic binary.
Okay.
I just want to make one point to your earlier comments, Rahul. Don't take it badly. You kept on saying there is no vote bank, there is no... Do you really believe that we don't have a Hindu vote bank in India? Especially after the BJP has been there for 4 years.
Not when parties do their level's best to divide.
There is no Hindu vote bank.
According to caste, according to creed, according to minority status,
believe me, that vote bank is more successful.
Hindu vote bank.
As a super intellectual,
when the OBCs are at war with the Brahmins and the Brahmins are at war with another particular community because political parties delight in exploiting these fractures. Are you telling me that Hindus vote in a consolidated manner?
There is no united...
No. Then if that was the case...
No, are you saying there is no united Hindu consciousness?
You are the proponent of a practical politics yourself.
Rahul is saying there is no united Hindu consciousness.
No, when Mayawati and
when... I'm being a bit mischievous here.
Completely
mischievous here. GVL, do you agree with Rahul Shivshankar that there is no united Hindu consciousness? No, I want to ask GVL this, whether he would agree with you.
No,
because I actually believe there is a united Hindu consciousness.
If there was united Hindu vote bank,
by various
if there was united Hindu vote bank, BJP would have been getting
the majority community. I have no difficulty in saying, but still, the kind of
who gave you that right to say that?
The kind of vote bank that you talk of when you talk of
do you think the Congress does?
That doesn't.
Do you think the Congress does? The Congress who needs to, the Congress party that needs to come out and saying we are not. We are not. The Congress party. Who do you think? No, I'm asking you. Do you think the Congress does? The Congress can't take a position on West Pakistani
national interest. We don't
refugee Hindus, and you are asking us today to believe that they represent the Hindu interest. Come on, come on.
You see,
come on, please.
I think that's what is called a vote bank.
Rahul,
when
you
the
make
entire
the
community
Hindus sound,
is actually
as if they are
thinks in
weak
a
and
similar way
divided.
for
They are.
protecting
Are
the
they
vote
not?
bank interest.
No, are they not?
This is a
Is there any
Hindus
debate?
unite
Why do you
only
need to
when
construct
there is a
various caste
complete
consolidation
anti-Hindu
rainbow
narrative in the
coalitions?
country?
You need to do it
this
to
is
win.
not how it is.
GV Narasimha, tell me, isn't there an attempt being made today to divide the Hindu
So anyway,
community?
I have no
You campaign on
issues
this
if
in
everyone takes
Karnataka. Why don't you
but
tell
just to
Sabha
qualify,
Naqvi?
I have no
Why don't you
problem
tell
with
her?
people getting minority status.
Now
Pardon?
you're saying it. Now you're saying
Tell
it.
me what?
Because you suddenly realized the limitation of your own argument. Now you're saying it. Right now, when we started the show, you said, what is the benefit?
No.
Come on.
I am not for the reasons. Not for the reasons you are quoting. I am against all the points you are raising. I'm just saying that it's not an issue which is a burning issue, because ultimately it's about controlling your educational institutions. It's having greater freedom for that. That is practical level.
Skill
That's all it's
development,
about.
job. No.
And minorities, like I've said it, that is all that it's about. It's meaningless.
GV
It's
Narasimha wants
meaningless.
to
We
come
should
in
forget
here.
about
Why can't the Prime
That's
Minister
what I believe.
have all these welfare schemes for all the poor of India, irrespective of their religion, caste or creed?
Because you know what? Because you will have several individuals from the opposition ranks who will say that he is not bothered. He's not bothered about social justice. You will have Lalu Prasad, Mulayam, come on. You will have Lalu Prasad, Mulayam, Mayawati all lining up on a stage and saying that the Prime Minister doesn't believe in correcting historical wrongs. That he is. No. That is precisely the problem. Ashutosh, you have walked in. Look, you can keep shouting, sir, and force me into also raising my voice. But you have just contradicted yourself. Because the moment the Prime Minister says we should have a casteless society, there will be 50,000 politicians.
Not casteless. Everything for the poor of every religion, caste or creed.
Okay, so who came up with the Mandal? Who came up with the Mandal Commission? No, I'm asking you. Who came up with the Mandal Commission, Ashutosh? Who implemented it? Who implemented it? Come on, what do you mean? Tell me, give me the name. Give me the name. Give me the name. And what? And do you think when Mr. the former law minister under the UPA stands up in Parliament and introduces a 4.5% quota for Muslims, he's doing it because
we are talking about helping the poor.
What are you talking about?
Why are you diverting the attention against towards Hindu versus Muslims?
Because this is the problem. There are political parties. Then why does the Congress give minority tax to Lingayats in Karnataka? Ask the Congress. How convenient.
I'm not a Congress spokesperson.
Well, sir, you sound like it. Nonetheless. You sound like it. 1 minute. 1 minute. Let me bring in Rizwan Ahmed. Rizwan Ahmed, what would happen? 1 minute. Rizwan Ahmed, let me ask you. What would happen if tomorrow the Prime Minister were to say, no way, we are not going to give out any basic, at any level, incentives based on caste? What do you think will happen? What do you think will hapen?
Exactly, I was coming there. Rahul, one thing.
Let him speak. Why don't you let him speak? Number one, when someone is answering you, you don't allow that person to speak. Can you please keep quiet for 30 seconds?
Let me complete.
Yes, Rizwan Ahmed.
Rizwan is my name. Rizwan is my name. Yes, as my co-panelist said, Rizwan is my name, for God's sake. As my co-panelist said, Rahul, that there is a Hindu vote bank. Let me tell her that if there is a Hindu vote bank, Narendra Modi will get 440 seats in 2019 without a single rally. Number one. Number two, what you said about scrapping. Have you ever seen, Rahul, have you ever seen a Muslim intellectual or commentator appreciating any government for minority schemes? The answer is no. We are thankless people. I pray to the government that all minority schemes should be abrogated and scrapped, and let 130 crore people work together as a single nation. There should be no scheme for the minorities because the minorities are thankless people.
Okay, Sabha Naqvi, do you support that? Let's move towards a society that is just...
I can't communicate with this kind of idea.
Oh.
I have a reservation.
I can't communicate with this kind of idea, so I won't even take it seriously.
One of our founding fathers, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
I have nothing to say to this individual.
Oh, really?
You know?
B.R. Ambedkar, one of our founding fathers, had the same idea. He said in 10 years, let's do away with reservations and castes. No, the people you worship. No, the Dalit icons you worship actually meant that.
To say to him.
Because they recognized how perniciously political parties would actually try to divide people on the basis of what the government will hand out.
You have
create competition.
Muslim who is ready to abuse other members of the community. You have a gift for your programming. Use
a dialogue with me, Sabha Naqvi.
You know, it's a gift horse for you.
You will never be able to establish
a
dialogue with me.
Muslim who's sitting there calling the world's second largest Muslim population as being thankless people. It is a gift for all kind of programming which is designed to make Muslims look pathetic, evil, dangerous, and to make somebody get some more time as a maverick. You know, I have nothing to say to whoever this person is. I don't debate with non-serious people.
Whoever you are, learn how to speak.
Anyway, GVL, come on. Do you agree with the speaker?
No.
I'm not talking to this person.
GVL Narasimha Rao.
One second. No, for once,
GVL, come on.
For once, I do not differ with Sabha Naqvi at all. For once, I think it is not proper to call anyone a thankless group or a community. I think that's certainly not the kind of expression that should be used.
And on the
other hand, what has been claimed as great benefits for the vote bank. Can I complete my statement, please? I think let's not call. No, I think I would disagree with that comment. I would seriously disagree with any comment which calls people thankless. I think, please let us not use such expressions. But the kind of the so-called benefits that people like, the kind of benefits that CPM claims to have given
let's not be extremist in our views.
Look at the condition of minorities in
Sir,
West Bengal.
you might be a member of the minority community.
Rizwan Saab, let's look at the socio-economic condition of minorities in the left-wing states. What have they? 25 years of power.
No, we can't generalize. You can't generalize. You can't generalize. No, sir, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Ashutosh, don't say that. Don't legitimize. Don't say that. Please don't say that. 1 minute. Okay. Rizwan Ahmed, I know as a member of the minority community, you can arrogate to yourself a certain entitlement to speak for the community, but we should not generalize. I understand. You have perhaps hard feelings.
No, I would disagree with that.
You might have hard views, but that's not the point here. We are not talking about whether people should be thankful for what they get from the state. Now there might be a need, and that need might even be justifiable.
Rahul, have you ever seen a Muslim thanking the government for the minority scheme?
Sir,
have you? I'm asking you.
I don't want to.
Have you?
Sir, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't want to speak in generalization. There are plenty of individuals, sir, who demand and are also thankful that they are granted. So let us not.
I was talking about Muslim intellectuals and speakers who come on the debate.
Well, sir.
I was talking about Muslim intellectuals and speakers
sir, they
who
make
come
a
on the
very
debate.
strong case.
I was not talking about the community.
Okay, but this one, sir, they make. I understand. You're making a distinction. I understand. You're targeting individuals like Sabha Naqvi. I understand that. Please, I'm not a fool, but there are many people within the intelligentsia, Muslim intelligentsia, that will argue very firmly for certain benefits.
I am an Indian. I don't define myself as a Muslim quote.
Okay, now let's not go down that route. Let's come back to the point. The point is, and it is being debated tonight because there is a date that has been set for a consensus to evolve over a central question. Should Hindus who are in the minority in various states, in at least 8 states, be given the minority status? And why are those who feel otherwise opposing this particular move. Why has it also taken so many years for us to come to a position where we recognize that there are also disadvantaged Hindus in this country, and should they actually be feeling at any level embarrassed about making a claim on the state for some forms of benefits? That is the sum and substance of this debate. It's been a heated debate. I'm sure it will also continue online, and a large number of you have been tweeting relentlessly.
Just one,
no, I just want. Okay, yes, very quickly, Sabha Naqvi.
I want to make one quick point, Rahul.
Sabha Naqvi, very quick.
Can I just make, since I've been attacked so badly, one quick point?
Yeah.
Very quickly, I don't like Rahul. I don't refer to myself as a Muslim intellectual.
Fair enough.
Just as I don't refer to you as a Hindu anchor.
Fair enough.
I see myself as an Indian journalist.
Absolutely.
And I don't like being put into that slot.
Yeah.
I want to qualify that.
I
I have been raised in a very, very secular way.
Okay,
and
I think
important for
that
me
point
to
is
make
very
that
well
point
made,
here.
and I think we've communicated it also to Mr. Rizwan Ahmed in no uncertain terms. He has his views. He's entitled to his views. We don't have to endorse them. The point of the matter is that we are at a critical point where we are discussing what it actually means to be a minority in this country. And anyone who says that, look, minorities, the tag by itself means nothing, are fooling themselves. It means a lot. Just ask a large number of individuals who get benefited by the state. It really makes a material difference to their lives.